Welcome back to BBB Adventures and the Builder series at Frank's Place. This video is a continuation of our effort to refresh Luna, our 1962 Corvair Greenbrier camper van. Last time we disassembled the driver's door and the rear side door and began the process of preparing them for reassembly with new window channel and fuzzies. In this episode, we're going to rebuild the driver's side wing window assembly, which has to get done before we can put the driver's door back together. Well, welcome back to Frank's Place. I'm going to start to tackle these parts today, which are parts of the door. These, I'm not going to work on these. I'm going to try to get this thing ready to rivet back together. So that means I've got to take it all apart, clean parts, paint parts. I got to drill holes. This is the new one of these. And there are none of the mounting holes in it. So I've got to drill all the mounting holes. Yeah. Have this thing all ready to go. That's what I'm going to get started on today. The first thing I'm going to do is take a bunch of detailed pictures of this for reference when I go to put it back together. I find that to be super helpful. There's a bunch of rivets that have to be drilled out to take this thing apart. So I'm going to start this one. I'm going to have to drill out this way, because you can't really get a drill bit this way. This one I can probably drill it this way, and then I've got to scope out all of them, but one by one I've got to drill them out. Now, what I'm going to try to do is take my center punch and try to punch a hole in as close to the perfect center of the rivet head as I can, and then I'll start with a small drill bit and work my way up until I have compromised the rivet enough to basically pound it out with a punch. Small drill bit in here. Now I'm going to go to a slightly larger. I'm going to try to show you what this looks like. So that's the rivet. You can see, I don't know if it's in focus, but you can see I'm starting to drill it out, the head out. So I'm going to keep going until I think it's compromised enough I can punch it out, push the rivet through. It's hard to see, I think, but I've got the rivet head drilled out enough that I think I'll be able to punch it through. So I'm going to try that now. I got this drift punch, the relatively small tip. Yep, I think it needs to be drilled out just a little bit more. Stubborn. Stubborn. There. That's the rivet. And hopefully you can see that I didn't damage the hole on this piece. I don't care if I damage the hole here because I'm replacing that, but this piece I'm not replacing, so I didn't want to damage the hole there. So it looks really good. Hopefully you can see that. So I am going to do that to the rest of the rivets here, the rest of this assembly, and take this apart. So I will check back in after I've made progress. No reason for you to sit here and be bored watching me drill out rivets, but that's what I'm going to do now. I got the two rivets here and the two rivets that were here drilled out successfully, which separates this assembly from this. Now what I got to do is I got to drill those two out, and this here. This is the new piece of rubber. This is a piece of rubber that the window kisses off and seals on. This is the new one, and it's attached to this black metal channel that goes over this metal channel. And so it's actually a sequence. So this black metal channel is riveted to this larger channel, this this longer channel first, and then this thing is attached by 4 rivets. So to reverse that, I got to drill these 4 rivets out, take this rubber piece off, then I got to drill out the rivets that hold this black part to this window channel, and that's how you get that apart. And then to get this window apart, here's the new rubber. To get this window apart, I got to drill out this rivet that is the pivot for the window, and I have to take this mechanism apart and slide the whole window out, replace the rubber doodad. You can see how terribly cracked this. That's why it needs to be replaced. So yeah, so that's some of the stuff I'm going to work on. And then this will need to be repainted, and this thing's going to need to be repainted, and yeah, that's what I'm going to keep doing. So now, like I said, now that rubber piece is off. There are 2 rivets there and there that hold this black piece onto this piece. So now I will drill those out. Now I want to be careful because I have to reuse this black piece. So I don't want to, this piece I'm replacing, but this black piece I am not. So I need to be a little careful with it, not to damage it as I'm drilling. Come on now. There, got it. Now, this piece comes off. Last 2 rivets. Or these 2. So I'll drill those out and check back in with you. The next thing I got to do is prepare this new window channel that I got from Clark's Corvair to accept all the rivets. And so the way I'm going to do that is I put this board, I lock this board down to my table with these clamps, and I'm going to use that as a stop to butt the ends together. So that'll be my reference. And then I'm going to use this square to mark the center to transfer all the positions that I need to drill a hole in this new, all the places I need to put a hole in this channel. So I am now going to mark a few of those holes, and the other thing is, I don't know if you can see it, but the way this channel is formed, bent, it left a witness line right here. And I'm going to take my calipers and measure it, but I suspect that witness line is the center of this section. And yeah, these holes need to be drilled in the center. So I'm going to verify that's true, and then I'll use that as a guide for establishing the center of all the holes I'm going to drill. So, and I'm going to use this awl, it's pretty sharp, to scribe the locations as I transfer these over. And of course, I'm going to use this square to do it. So that's my next move. That I've got a scratch mark that's going to help me put this hole in the right place. Yep, so I'm going to continue to mark all of these holes. I'm using these calipers to measure the position of that witness line that's from the manufacturing, from the forming of this thing, and I've determined that that really is in fact the dead center, which is awesome. So now, wherever I've got one of these scratch marks, like right here, which you probably can't see, I'm going to use my center punch, my spring-loaded center punch, to start a hole. So I'm going to do that all the way down here. Then I'm going to use this small drill bit to drill a pilot hole, and then I'll figure out which drill bit I need for the various holes. But yeah, that's making progress. Okay, let's keep going. Now you can see everywhere there's a hole in the old one, there's an initial hole in the new one, and they're all lined up. Now I got to drill them out. Small, big, different size holes. I got this assortment of drill bits, so I'm gonna take some measurements, figure out what drill bits I need, and I'm gonna drill those holes. So the best way I figured out how to do this is these holes in the old part are 150 thousandths, 0.15 inches. I'm using a drill bit that is 140-ish, so about 10 thousandths, which means the hole's too small. But when you drill through this way, you get a burr on this side, and you don't really want that. So then I've been taking this reamer, and I reamed the burr off going in from this side, and as I do that, it actually enlarges the hole to about where you want it to be. So I will show you. I will do this hole. Okay, so I drilled that hole out. Now, these are the rivets, and it won't go in that hole. But if I feel on this side, I feel the burr from drilling the hole through there. So now I'm gonna stick this reamer in there, and I'm gonna ream out that so that it feels smooth on the inside. The window rides inside here, and you don't want the window hitting anything. So now that I've reamed out that burr, the rivet fits in there quite nicely, perfectly. I am going to continue to do that to all of these holes. And you can see that the holes in the old one and the holes in the new one are the same. So this piece is now finished. I can set this piece aside. The next thing I got to do is I got to drill out this rivet, which is the pivot for the wing window. See, it's the pivot for the wing window. So I got to drill this rivet out. Then I got to take this mechanism apart, and I got to get this window out of there so I can paint this frame, and so I can put the new rubber in the frame. So I am going to drill out that rivet very carefully since it's near the glass. I really don't want to drill into the metal of the bottom part of the hinge. I really don't. So I'm trying to be careful to just drill out the rivet just enough to make it so I can knock it out of there. Pop goes the rivet. It came out. And I didn't damage the hinge. Okay. Now I got to take this apart, and I'm going to carefully set the parts in order because there's several parts in here and I don't want to get it messed up. Two tabs, these locking tabs. Just enough to allow the nut to move. Okay, I'm going to set these down over here. So first is the nut, then is the locking ring, and then the spring, And now this comes out. Oh, there's a phenolic washer. All right, I got the window frame and these other parts that need to be painted. I got them cleaned up, sanded, got some black paint on them. So that's where I'm gonna end today. It's been a long day. Need to get home. Tomorrow, I'll put a second coat of paint on these, and then I gotta be patient and let the paint cure really well. And then we'll rivet those assemblies back together. And I still need to paint the bottoms of the doors, the inside of the doors. But after those things are done, I think we can put the window assemblies back in the doors. So yeah, progress for sure. All right, it's time to demask this wing window and install it in the frame with the new gasket. That's like step one of putting this back together. So I'll just go ahead and take this off and then we'll put it back in this frame. Now that I've got this all unmasked, the next step is to replace this wore out gasket with this new one I got from Clark's. So there's some drain holes. There's some drain holes for when water goes down the window. And those are not, they're molded in, but they're not open. So I think I've got those to open up with a knife. And then right here is the hole for this wing window shaft. And that is not opened either, so I need to drill that hole. But I'm gonna wait till I get it back in the frame before I drill that, I think. Because I just wanna make sure it's in the right place. I got the drain holes cleaned out. Now, let's study this for a minute. Frame's in good shape. So, now, we just put the new one in. I wonder where to start. I think I'm gonna start right here, lining up this slot with this feature for the hinge. And then I'll work my way in both directions and see how that gets me. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. I'm gonna keep working at this. Got to get it down in, see there's a, you gotta get this part down inside that groove. And you can sort of feel when it kind of clicks in there, but you gotta keep just working it. So instead of making you guys tediously watching me do this, I'm going to turn the camera off and I'm going to keep working at it. So I think I figured out how to do this. You snap the one side in, and then you take a screwdriver and you push on this side to start to get it started going down in that channel, the little part that needs to go down in the channel, and then you push it in and it snaps right into place. So that's I think the best way to do it. I'm making progress. I'm going to work my back way around there, and I'm hoping this lines up. It sort of looks like it's not going to, but it's not fully seated into this part of the channel yet, so hopefully when that gets done, that part lines up. I got the rubber thing, the brand new rubber thing, seal, all attached in here, and the good news is the water hole, drain holes lined up well, and the feature this feature for this shaft lined up well. So now I got to drill it out. So I'm going to pick a drill that's slightly smaller than this shaft so that it forms a seal around here. It just seems like a good idea. So I got my picture that I took before it came apart, and so that will be my guide. What is it? Do you want to help me? Do you want to help me? Oh yeah, you gonna be helpful? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. What is it? What is it? Oh my goodness. Are you a helpful doggy? Okay, now I'm gonna put a little bit of lubricant on this phenolic disc because you do want this thing to be smooth but have enough friction to stay open in the wind, so you don't want to put too much on. But there's supposed to be 2 of these here. There's 2 phenolic discs on this side of that bracket. Not really sure why, but that's the way it was. And that's the way we're going to put it back. And then 1 phenolic disc, maybe a little itty bitty bit more grease, 1 spring retainer. Why do this not rotate? I see that. That's a stop, and it's stopping it in the wrong place. It's got this edge facing backwards. That's why you take pictures, because you know what they say about the 1,000-word thing. That thing acts like a stop, so the window only can open so far. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna go get a wrench to tighten this nut. Hey, if I look at the picture, this nut was tightened until the shaft, the bolt, the threaded part, was maybe a thread or so exposed. So that's going to be my starting point. And I'm probably not going to bend these tabs until I get this thing riveted together and I can test the friction on the window fit. Mary Beth's here to help me, but don't expect her to talk. She's grumpy. Don't expect any talking. So the first rivet we're going to put in is this hinge rivet, and it's a special rivet. It's got a step, and it's that little step that acts as the hinge pin, and then the smaller diameter section is the one that you form over. So you gotta line these up. And last time we did this, we made a mistake, and we had to drill out the rivet and order a new one, and neither one of us remembers what the mistake was. So
watch the video.
We didn't video it.
Oh, you didn't video it?
No, because I wanted to learn on the first one, so I wouldn't look like an idiot when I did.
That's it.
I thought you weren't going to talk. I thought there was no talking, but yet I hear you being disparaging. I think it's just this new seal is just tight. This new rubber is tight. There.
I heard it click.
Yep. Tappity tap 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 tap. Look at Frosty go. Oh, what?
Show the camera.
Show the camera. See, now it's down in there, so now I gotta. Okay.
Somebody wants to play. Hi, just go. You want me to chase you?
Yeah, he likes to be chased. This is the point where my helper would be helping me. That's the point we're at. You gonna hold the dog or this? Yes. Okay. Hold that.
Okay. Okay, I have to put you down. How many rivets do we have to do today?
A lot.
Why? It looks like this is it. Looks like it's all done after this.
No, you've already messed up your job.
Oh, you bumped it.
I don't remember. I developed quite a technique last time. But of course I don't remember. for how you mushroom these over. Because that one over there that I did looks awesome. I gotta round it out enough that I can then sort of form it over. And I have all these different punches that we must have used last time because I left them on the bench. But this looks like the one that would sort of round it over the best.
It seems lopsided though.
What do you
one
mean?
side, the inside is bending over more than the outside.
Oh yeah, I see that. Probably because I'm going down at this angle.
Uh-huh.
Let's see how we're doing. Nope, it's definitely lopsided though. So hold.
What if you and I trade places?
Okay. No. I don't remember what we did last time. I think we're done with that one. We need a wider one. Oh, that's a good one. It's getting less crooked, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now we're cooking with gas. Is this the finger I'm hitting?
Nope. This one. That's the
That's
finger you
the
hit.
rude finger.
Well, it was rude to hit.
Don't.
Look, you can even
Stop
see
doing that.
The fingernail is scuffed.
Stop doing that. It's rude. I don't want our viewers to think you're rude.
I would flatten this one out a bit more.
Move your fingernails. Okay, I'm
Yeah, that one looks actually better
now
than the
let's
other one
see
because
if,
it's not
if
cracked.
the window actually opens. Okay, the next step, this is the part that we drilled, this channel that we drilled all the holes into. So the next step is we need to rivet this frame. And this is where the wing window closes, when it closes. So we need to rivet this frame. And it's got two locations. So remember, we had two different size holes. So this rivet and this rivet get riveted first. That holds this on there. Now these bigger holes are actually larger than the head of the rivet. And so once we get this riveted on, then this rubber piece gets riveted on like this. And you put the rivet heads through this way, and they make clearance there, and then they clamp this rubber part to this piece of steel. So those rivets are poking through. Make sure this thing is seated well. And now if I can find my helper, we will round these rivets over. My helper. So I got these set up in the vise, and this is gonna push on the head of the rivet. Mary Beth's gonna stabilize it. And I'm gonna round these babies over. So I'm using a series of these punches that are roundy because you want to sort of round over the head of the rivet. So I use a series of these things. And then you use a flat, yeah, so it's sort of rounding it out, sort of making a cone out of it, if you will. And then once you get it coned up enough, then you use a flat one to pound it flat. So I'm gonna keep coning. I'm not done coning. There's probably terms for this if you're a rivet person. Whoops, that's the wrong end of the hammer. And I'm sure in the factory, they didn't do it this way. They had some sort of a gun that went ka-chunka, 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 and everything was happy.
That's the flat part. Oh yeah, just like that.
Yeah. Is it tight? Seems like it.
Seems like it.
Is the head loose? No, we're gonna call that a success. Okay, now we do this one.
Starts out looking like that.
I felt like I was getting really good at this last time we did it, and then I don't remember anything about my technique. I'm gonna get really good at it at the end of this one. and then never ever have to do it again, I hope. That's what Kermit the Frog says. Rivet, rivet, isn't it? No. Wonder what the Kermit Frog's doing today.
Singing songs about rainbows.
Does that song go? Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Do you know the rest of the words? I don't either.
What's the name of that song called?
Kermit the Frog Rainbow Song?
Hey Google, play Kermit the Frog rainbow song.
You can't do that. We're going to get a copyright violation. Kermit don't want you listening.
Rainbow Connection by
Oh, it's
Rainbow Connection.
playing on Spotify.
That's it.
Are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? This is when we drop the rivets in the holes that had the big hole where the head of the rivet can go through. So now I'm just riveting this rubber part to this metal part.
How can it be too big if it fits in there?
Because I don't want it bottoming out on the hole in this. I want it supporting the rivet. So it's pushing the rivet, because this rivet isn't anything to do with this. It's in a great big hole. So the head of the rivet is clearing this. So if this thing ends up here, it's not backing up the head of the rivet properly. Let's try to use this one and see. Well, there's the holes that I drilled in this thing. There are some that are the size of the rivet, and there are some that are oversized. So there are some that just this part of the rivet goes in. And there are some that are so big that the whole head of the rivet slips through.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do at this point, we're not trying to rivet this rubber thing to this thing. We're just trying to rivet this thing to this thing.
The black part
So the head of the rivet
needs to slip through that.
has to slip through that. And so then if we have a big thing that doesn't
Push it through it.
It doesn't push it through it, and it's supporting this material and not the rivet head,
Got it.
then the rivet's not going to tighten up.
Got it.
So, but we just have to make sure we hold it right on the rivet head.
Oh, it's not going to slip off of there at all as you pound.
You know, this pessimistic attitude isn't what we're looking for. Now look, see, it's totally not there because the rivet fell through. Okay, hold it there and don't let it move.
You're
while
moving it while I-
Don't let it move while I pound the shit out of it. I've decided we should try to test fit all the rivets before we put the first one in to see how everything's lining up. I don't remember. The one thing I don't remember is having this much trouble with the danged rivets.
All right, you had trouble with every step of this. Refresh. Remember? Remember the cross member?
The confidence that you have in me and my
It's
ability.
nothing to do with my confidence in you.
What does it have to do with?
The reality of this build. Remember the cross member?
Nope.
I
Want to
do.
explain it to me?
I had to hold it up with my head. But then we had to take it out and do it again.
Let's not talk about taking things out and doing them again.
Yeah. The differential that's now attached to the engine
Oh,
for the
not
second
long.
time. That has to come off
Not
again.
for long.
For the third time?
We weren't going to tell the people about that.
Oh yeah, we were.
Okay, I think I gotta drill this. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna have to do, let's drive a couple of these that look good, and then the last one I'm just gonna have to drill the hole. Okay, let's try our first one. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, how excited are you about this?
1.
Where 1 means the most excited.
5.
Okay, come on.
I want to do it this way.
Oh, it'll straighten out. I'm about to pound the poop out of it. You ready?
Yeah.
You know what's happening?
Yep, that's falling down.
Yep. I went to tighten it the wrong way.
And then it really fell down.
Sure did. When you're looking at your phone, it's hard for me to believe that you're paying attention to your job.
I don't have to pay attention. I'm reading an email from Pork Belly Ventures. Wait,
Oh, that is an ugly ass rivet. Boy, that's just ugly. If you look at the other ones, they're not that ugly. I guess it's not a cosmetic contest. Glad about that. It's ugly, ugly, ugly. It's gonna work.
it's attached.
done. Is it tight?
Yeah.
Okay, now I gotta rivet this.
I thought we were done with rivets.
Why would you think that? Look at the pile of rivets that's left. We're not done till the pile's gone.
Let's change the window fuzzies, they said. It'll be fun.
Buy a 60-year-old van. They said the window fuzzies will never go bad. Look at the factory rivet heads. Look at that. Look at their roundovers.
It's different than ours.
Yeah. Because they used to use a device called a rivet gun. I don't. This is the part I don't remember. It's like, was this a struggle last time?
That's what he said. I heard.
Hold. She can go right in now. Drill bit went through. Why wouldn't a rivet?
We're done.
Right in. Ready?
I'm ready.
Ready for some fun? I can't believe how lucky we are. Can you? That we get to do shit like this? You probably are asking yourself, how did I land such a man that allows me to do these fun things? Not every man can provide for his wife the way I do.
It's true.
I think that one's done. By God,
It's on there.
that's on there. All right. Getting there. It's getting there. Yeah, this is the one I don't know how to do. It seems like we're gonna have to do it sideways. Like put the rivet in, and I'm going to hammer on it sideways. This is like pounding on a spring. This is gonna be, I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna shorten this so this spring is a lot stiffer. That should help a lot. Hopefully this begins to tighten it up. It's getting there. Let's see how loose it is. Oh, tightened up.
Good.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Done.
Yay.
See, it's pretty tight. If I open up the wing window and we're going down the highway and it falls off, we'll know
It wasn't tight.
it wasn't tight. Seems like it
Just like factory.
looks like the fit's pretty good. See?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's gonna do it for today. We got this done. Now we're gonna go for a bike ride. But this was a big accomplishment.
Yeah, it's been on his list
Now we can put the door back together.
of things that I had to do to come help him.
Now you get to help me put the door back together.
Enjoy.
She loves to help. She's such a good helper. Okay, see ya. Well, that's it for this episode of the Builder Series at Frank's Place. Thanks for watching. I know this was pretty tedious, and I'm hoping someone else that's rebuilding an old car will find it useful to see what it takes to restore an old wing window assembly. Stay tuned for the next episode where the door frames get repainted and we put the doors back together.